Hi, my name is Joshua Olufemi. In this video, I'll be talking about fact-checking data claims. I'll start with some theory and I'll give you a practical example. I want us to start by considering some quotes to remember when approaching a data claim. First, says the devil is in the details, and sometimes those details are also hiding an uncomfortable truth or two. So it's not only that the information can be inaccurate, sometimes it can be hiding some information behind them. 2. Data cannot be taken at face value, as so doing requires a litany of assumptions. A journalist is responsible for understanding the data, period. Now, 5 questions about data in claims, which means when you have a claim, 5 things you should ask first. 1. Ask how the data was gathered. 2. Ask how the data was entered and where error could have entered the process. 3. Ask about the collection methodology. Is it done through questionnaire? Was interview conducted? Was the data collected through observation? Was it entered manually? Or was it a computer-assisted method? Ask about the sample size. Sample size will determine sometimes the bias and the conclusions if they are trustworthy. Ask whether there are the latest additions and what changes have occurred in the data since the last or between the last and the current one. 5 major statistical tools that you can always pay attention to when doing a fact checking. 1. Is the data speaking to comparison between one or two things, people, nations, or issue or topic? Is it about composition? Is it about the location? Is it about distribution? Or is it speaking to relationship? Now, pointers in a data claim. Sometimes data have outliers. They speak to extremes. They speak to sometimes unbelievable or too good to be true claims. Other times, data is about trends. So you must be looking out for statements or claims that are speaking to trend or outliers. And at other times, correlation, that is comparing two things, which we mentioned in the last slide about relationship. That is how one or two things relate to each other. Examples for outlier. Oh, which city has the least crime? Oh, which city is the most populous in a country? Oh, which celebrity is the most viewed on YouTube? In trends, you see things like over a period of time, such as crime has been decreasing in Kenya over the last 10 years. Sometimes you hear things like Lassa fever death doubled in Nigeria in the last 3 years. Now, if you look at these last 2 statements, you will see that they sound true and may be true, but the usage or the context in which they are used may be the problem. For instance, is when we say crime has been decreasing over the last 10 years, are we talking about a year-on-year decrease? Are we talking about an average period decrease? Or are we talking about a point A and point B decrease? That is what happened 10 years ago and what happened today. Which means within those 10 years, you could have years that the spike went up. But if you look at the beginning of the 10 years and the end point, there's been decrease. So you need to be sure what the data is speaking to or what the speaker is or the claim is all about. When you say Lassa fever deaths doubled in Nigeria in the last 3 years, the same thing applies. When you say doubled, are you speaking to the number of deaths or are you speaking to the rate of Lassa fever incidents? And when you say in the last 3 years, are you speaking about a yearly or within 3 years or on average? These are things to pay attention to. Another one is smoking causes more cancer. How do you correlate that all cancer deaths are caused by smoking? Or if smoking really causes more cancer deaths than any other cause of cancer? People buy more umbrellas when it is raining. Things like this are pointers because they seem very easy to believe and align with our belief system and biases. They are easy to just let go, and that's where the devil is in the detail. Now we have an example of a fact check that we want to look at as a way of finding out where the problem can be in a statement. In this practical session, we'll see how some of the things we learned in the theory can be used for fact checking. And we'll be taking one of the stories that have been fact checked on Dubai platform in Nigeria for the practical session. Let's go about it. Once in Nigeria, the president said 5 million Nigerians have been lifted out of poverty. And he was speaking this in context of the job creation and other social investment programs of the government. Now, the fact checker, which name you can see here, wondered why and how this could be true. Because the number is bogus. For instance, there are about 55% of the population of Nigerians that are the working population. That's about 105 or more. Now, if you say 5 million have been put out of poverty, you're speaking to either 1 in 40 Nigerians, or you're talking about employment creation for 1 in 22 working population Nigerians. Another problem was there was no publicly available data to validate the claim, and the job creation figure from the Bureau of Statistics didn't support that number of jobs. Also, there's been a pattern of inconsistency on unemployment and poverty figure at different locations by public officials. And so it was necessary to find out what this was about. Now, to verify the job creation and employment data, where do you go to? Or any other kind of data claim? First place to go to is the official record collection or record publication institution. In Nigeria, the organization that publishes the information on employment is National Bureau of Statistics. And when it comes to poverty, the NBS also does the same thing, but within the period that was measured, that was not the situation. And so another platform was used. But for the job creation website of government, that was the only available, verifiable, and referenced platform for finding data on job creation. Now, in terms of poverty, extreme poverty, within a period of time, the word poverty clock was used. Now, let me go to the story and you see how it was fact-checked. Now, this is the story. Now, the first claim is that one of the key components of the NSIP, which is the Nigeria Social Investment Program, NPower, and its subcomponents has led to creation of job opportunities in different sectors of the economy. For example, in the past 3 years, the program has yielded over 2 million direct and indirect employment opportunities. Verdict: after fact check, there is no publicly available evidence to support the claim, and that is because the website did not give the data of the number of people. At the same time, unemployment rate in Nigeria is steadily on the rise, so there is nothing to show that there was an increased employment which should have brought about a decrease in unemployment rate. The second claim: federal government has lifted over 5 million Nigerians out of poverty. That was also verified as false. This is because the number of Nigerians living in extreme poverty increased yearly. And as you can see, the reporter went on to provide who made the claim. And Here it says, in his words, the president said. So you know the person is the president. The verification of claim was then done using the data of the NPOWER, or the National Social Investment Plan website, which is an official and verifiable data. Also, for the second claim about poverty, the World Bank World Poverty Clock and other statistics platforms like the United Nations and the NBS were used to fact check, and nothing to show. Thank you for listening. I look forward to great stories and fact check reports from you.